Okay, it should be around 9:30. This thing says 9:33. Like to start on time. Should be a full classroom. There's about 27 signed up, some not here yet. So let me take Rustin Sims here. Amber Ball, Cole Walker, Robert Brown, Alexander Birds. Okay. Say, Carter, Matthew Crawford. Here's an international name that I cannot pronounce. Ahmadou. I think it's here. Elizabeth, Alexander Finney, Justin Fox, Margot Orman, Margot Harper. How do you pronounce your first name? I'll probably mess that up. He was the first one here this morning. I think he was sitting downstairs before 9 o'clock. Robert, just in time. Ryan, Hyman, Dylan Horn, Alexa, MILICA, and it's also the national last name. Cody Moore, Kelly Neal, Johnny, Jeff Wakefield, Sands, his name's Sands. We've got quite a few here. Courtney, you even smile about it, Courtney. McKinley, Jacob, Justin Williams, Joshua Williams, Corey Williams, Levi Wimmer. Levi, not here. Okay, we have quite a few not here this morning. I don't think this course is supposed to be live streamed, is it? Like my night class it is, but this it's not. And your last name is what?
Margot.
Margot? Your last name? All right, that's one of those I can't try. Okay. Okay, welcome to the first day of class. Of course, we're live stream. It's not supposed to be a live stream class, but these classes will show up on Moodle. I just go click. I've got a link on Moodle, and you just click on it. You have to miss a day. You can watch the lecture real time at home or Saturday or Sunday, what have you. But hopefully you don't miss. It's important to try to be in class. And to get into Moodle, of course, I know one student found the key code. But to get into Moodle, if you haven't found that, I'll Try one note here. Let me get rid of some of this. This is our blackboard and everything, I guess. Okay, to get into Moodle then, small letters, A, C, C, T. When they sent me left a T off. 201, that's the number of the class. Small S, 12, small S, small W. Now that will be the code to get into Moodle. And I'll have the date on there. Today's date, you can click on it and watch what's going on, of course, today. All right, and the textbook, I think somebody purchased the textbook, or it was, all right, you get a disc with it. Yeah. All right. But these are loosely down at the bookstore or on Amazon. They're about 200. That don't look like the whole text in. Check it out. Okay. Let me find it. It's accounting 27th edition. And last year we used the hard copy and workbook. It's about $350 or more. So these we got the price down to $200. That includes a disc. You need that disc. So if you order this online or if you buy a used textbook, now the link I gave you this morning, they'll let you use a credit card or PayPal just to pay for the link if you got a used textbook somewhere. So nobody's let down. I even get it cheaper than 200. I checked around, I don't know. All right, but you need to get a textbook as soon as possible. We're using Cengage now. First year I've used it because it's mainly to cut down the price. And you'll go into Cengage, and all your assignments are in Cengage. If you work on those assignments long enough, you can't get this to work at all. If you settle for 50 or 60 or 70, you can do that. I won't work on Cengage. Good part of the grade. I'll try to copy and paste this link. I think this will be better. It actually even grades your homework, records the grade for me to see, and so forth. That's homework. It's not quizzes, not tests. This syllabus is on Moodle. I'll give you a hard copy just in case. Okay, the syllabus is what it is. You can go through it. I'm not going through too much with you. Of course, my email's up there if you need to email me. And and you can get my phone number off the web page or what have you. Well, my phone number is here also. Now, if you are absent one day and you live stream from home, I don't count you absent. You have to let me know you're live streaming. So you'll have to text me on my cell phone to let me know you're watching right now at home. My cell phone number is 276-964-3431. Repeat that, 276-964-3431. That's if you are sitting at home right now, text me and you're not absent. All right, if you only have 0 absent, 1 absent, or 2 absent, I give you a 10-point bonus on a low test grade. So attendance is important there also. You can read over to this course learned objective, grading scale, what have you. I've got some assignments on here, or I'll probably have them on Moodle, but I roughly have a time frame from really August to 17th. Today is August, 14th? That'd be starting this Friday. But starting today, the assignment on the syllabus is to read chapter 1 and read it well before Thursday. Hopefully you can get a textbook. Now, I think I have a copy of the textbook on reserve at the library. If you get a chance to go in there, if you don't have a textbook yet, go in there and check that one out and look at chapter 1. Now, if you happen to be sitting at home this morning and you were watching this live, you need to give me a 1-page summary if you're not in class. So if you watch it from home, I need a 1-page summary of what we did in class that day. It's got special accommodations on here. We've got a student in one of the other majors. I don't have her, but she is allergic to peanuts. I think she goes into shops. If she walked into this classroom, somebody was in the back of the room eating a bag of peanuts. She's got such an allergy to it, she goes in the shop. So whatever class she's in, no peanuts. Okay, I think everything that needs to be covered. Looks like something might be covered twice, but cell phones. I won't answer mine, you don't answer yours. I cut my ringer off, you cut your ringer off. Class starts, you should not be texting. You're not here to text. If you want to play on your cell phone, play a game, or text in class, you don't need to be in class. Just go to the course. If you're so addicted to that cell phone that it rules your life, don't waste your time in here. So forth. So cell phone is definitely not permitted. Now, if somebody thinks they're going to have an emergency that day, or they got a kid sick at home, or anything of that nature, then yeah, tell me, and, that you might expect a text, or you may have to leave or something. That would be okay. All right. Do we have any married students in here? Nobody married? Okay. That's probably good, because with your age, somebody around 20, 21, 19, whatever, you have the potential to be at least 100. So if you marry when you're 20, you've got to live with that same person for 80 years. Do you want that? Okay? You might not. So think about it. A lot of people are living to be 99, 100, even now, but at your age, you'll definitely have that potential. Okay, what were we majoring in? How many of you are majoring in accounting? All right? Quite a few of them. Marketing, management, health service, engineering. Guys, I think y'all only have to take one semester, don't you? Oh, you'll like this much, you'll want to take both. All right, high school. How many of you had any kind of bookkeeping or accounting in high school? Quite a few of them. That will help you a little, not a lot. But for those who have not had any kind of bookkeeping or accounting, we start at the beginning. You're not at a disadvantage, okay? Well, you'll be fine if you start at the beginning with us, keep up with us. Everybody's going to be okay, all right? Okay, let's see. I think I've covered the syllabus, how to get into Moodle. Of course, syllabus, what have you, cell phone, and all the housekeeping things. All right. Of course, they came up with a new system last year. We still got an old system where we have an Elmo and all that. And when they come up with a new system, which I think it made it easier for students just to click on Moodle and go right to today's lecture. And we have Notepad on these things, and I have PowerPoint and solutions and so forth. And I think I put solutions also on Moodle. You can check some of your homework just by looking at solutions. But please go into Cengage as quick as you can. You've got the book, a couple of you do, you've got the link, and so on. So I must say that the two engineering students are on the ball. They both have books. All right. Anyway, and if you're waiting for financial aid, I hope it comes through soon. Sometimes it's a mess to get your financial aid approved at the beginning of the semester, but that's when you do need it approved. Okay, now the textbook. The first thing in chapter 1 is the type of businesses in our economy. Okay? The types of business. One is proprietorship. All right, what do you think proprietorship is?
Just one person.
One owner. One owner. And that's probably your barber shops and your beauty shops, or some of your zip-in markets, and your appliance repairman, and sometimes an accountant, sometimes a lawyer, and sometimes a doctor may be a sole proprietor. And from there, we get partnership. And if you're married, so you don't know what kind of partnership that's going to be. But a partnership in business is 2 or more people. Next, a law firm, sometimes, doctors, what have you. Even mining companies go out as a partnership. One has the skill of mining, one has the skill of law, one has the skill of accounting or whatever. And partnerships form on the skills basis. And then there's corporations. Corporations is the backbone of our country. 5 of the largest corporations in this country could probably pretty much bankrupt the country if they went bankrupt. Okay, what is the largest retailer in the country? Definitely Walmart. Maybe in the world. How about the largest automobile company in the country? What? General Motors. And of course, we have a lot of imports now. I guess Toyota, they're big in the country. Of course, a lot of other imports too. How about the largest rubber company in the country? Probably is Goodyear, Firestone, so they get a long time ago, some bad tires, I guess. And that would be the largest appliance company in the country. GE and Westinghouse, I don't know exactly what this was. How about the largest oil company? Exxon. Probably Exxon. Now, out of all of those, which one is the largest in the country? Out of all of them. It flip-flops. It has flip-flops between General Motors and Exxon. I'm sure Walmart's right up there in the top 3 probably now. Okay. So corporations, they employ a lot of people, they have a lot of income, they have a lot of assets, and so forth. So this first semester, we look at a proprietorship. One of them. We start out with a service business, and we go up to a retail business. Second semester, we look at partnership, then we look at corporations. And we go from the proprietorship to the partnership to the corporation. We go from a retail business to a service business. Now, any of them can be incorporated. Any of them can be a single proprietorship. All right. And then, of course, manufacturing accounting, second semester. So, service, retail, and manufacturing. Proprietorship, partnership, corporation. That's the 6 aspects of accounting that you'll be aware of, hopefully by the end of the year. If you make it. Now, some of you will find an excuse to drop out. You don't like me, you don't like the book, you don't like Moodle, you don't like who's sitting beside us, or something. You'll find a reason maybe to drop. But find a reason not to drop. Okay? Now, when I took an accounting class, I took it UVA Wise, my first accounting class, and the instructor said, there's 30 of you in here, look to your left and look to your right. 2/3 of you will not be here by the end of the second semester. So he was saying that 1 out of every 3 would pass. I don't do that. I like for all of you to pass if you can. I would change that around though, look to your left and look to your right. 1 out of every 3 people are ugly. Look to your left and look to your right. If they're good looking people, then you're ugly. Okay? But anyhow, that's the first page of your textbook is the type of businesses. And they mentioned the types of accounting. And one of the first things they mentioned in accounting is ethics. We even have a business law and ethics class. It used to be unheard of. What does ethics mean? Morals kind. Anything else got us?
How you conduct yourself in the business world. That's how you supposed to.
How you supposed to. All right. Honesty. Where do you get your ethics from? Somebody. They go to church. Where? Constitution of the state you live in. Well, ethics comes from all sources. It actually comes from your parents, it comes from church. If you believe in church, it comes from maybe some of the earlier teachers. And sometimes you get in high school and you get with friends and you go on ethics. Which may be against others. All right, have we had any unethical people in some of the professions that you know about? How about doctors? Any unprofessional doctors? Some of them went to prison for passing out too many pills or harassing a female patient. Accountants, I know of accountants. Used to teach at one at Southwest Virginia Community College. And he went out his own. He went to UVA Wise, but he was sent up to Beckley for a year or 2 for accounting fraud. He had a tax practice, and he had people in that community to make up phony W-2s, and he had a small business made up phony W-2s for people that never worked, so they'd get earned income credit. So there's crooked accounts, crooked lawyers too, aren't they? Now politicians are all on this, aren't they? Never saw a crooked politician. All right. I would like to say there's 10% of politicians that don't lie. I don't know if it goes that high or not. Okay. Okay, so ethics. But ethics in accounting and is to follow accounting procedures and don't forward documents. Don't commit fraud. There's a small town in this area, whereas the town manager gave himself a raise. so he would have a higher retirement when he retired, to give himself an automatic raise. He was caught. His trial comes up this month. So that was a form of fraud where he can give himself a raise and to pay for that. So most people get caught. A lot of ethics came about new courses because of Enron, one of the biggest companies in the country, went bankrupt, took down one of the big accounting firms in the country, so forth. So, but there's been other companies in trouble for fraud and so forth. All right, so ethics. You'll have bits and pieces of ethics throughout courses and a complete course in business law and what have you. Okay, opportunities for accountants. Now, our accounting majors, we don't have as many this year, intermediate and taxes, but we usually have around a dozen. And they all come in, employed. We got one that went with IRS, a couple of CPAs are on their own. We got one employed with Co-Motors as an accountant. One that's Allen Edwards, a CPA firm here at Bluefield. So our accounting majors have not had any trouble getting a job or going on to grad school. We've got one in grad school at Virginia Tech, one in grad school out west somewhere. So if they want to go into grad school, accounting gives them a good background. Okay. Okay, opportunities for accountants. There's public accounting and there's private accounting. And you start your own business, of course. But there's payroll accountants and cost accountants and there's auditors. The state of West Virginia employs a lot of auditors. They have to have an accounting background. IRS employs a lot of auditors. They have to have an accounting background and so forth. So lots of jobs, lots of job titles, controllers, financial managers, CFOs, and so forth. Most of your big people in this country, residents of these big corporations, have an accounting background. Okay? I've always told my students, an accountant can be a manager, but a manager don't have enough accounting to be an accountant. All right? Or an advertising person or a marketing person, they don't have enough accounting to be an accountant. But an accountant can be a manager. Okay? That's what a lot of them become. Okay, if you have a book, page 6, not 6, but sorry, page 10 and 11, generally accepted accounting principles. You'll hear that throughout this book. If we didn't use generally accepted accounting principles, we couldn't compare one company with another. We wouldn't know how a certain business was doing. So we have to follow some of the same rules for all the proprietorships, partnerships, and corporations in this country. All right, now, a couple of your accounting principles. One is the business entity concept. And the business entity concept, you must keep records, even if you think you're going to go bankrupt next week. You keep bookkeeping, accounting records right up to date. And keep your personal checking account separated from your business checking account. All right, so your business entity concept. Now, cost concept is what we pay for something. Something may be advertised for $40,000. All right, we get it. We pay 30 for it. We get it appraised for 35. Well, the cost was 30. That's what we put in accounting records. That's what it cost. Not what it was advertised for, not what it was appraised for, but its cost. Now, the dollar is our money concept. We don't measure we don't put on our county record 100 acres of land. We put land at its cost. So we use dollars. So if you have a dollar, please take out a dollar. A $1 bill, not a 5, not a 10. Now, I know somebody may be broke, especially on the first day of school if we bought books. Let's see if you have a dollar. Now, some people don't have dollars. You have extra dollars that you can loan your neighbor. All right? 8% interest rate. Well, you should be a business major, not an engineer major. If you're thinking about charging interest. But anyway, let's see if I can put a dollar on the screen. If I have a $1 bill, I can't put it up here like I used to on Elmo. Can reverse the camera, but I can't do that. Okay, I just want to show you something on the dollar. It definitely won't be on a test. Okay. I'd like for each table to share a dollar. Because each table at least has a dollar. Oh, this is $5. $1. $1. We would about made it here. Every table has a dollar. Okay. If you look at that dollar, look at the back of it first. And there was a great committee with Ben Franklin on it and some of our founding fathers that designed this dollar and the great seal that goes on a dollar. Now, if you look to the right, you see an eagle. Now, count the eagle's tail feathers. Count his tail feathers. How many? All right, that eagle represents our 3 branches of government. So which one does 9 represent? It's been in the news lately, 9 Supreme Court justices. And the shield represents Congress, and the head represents the executive presidential branch of the government. So that eagle represents our government. Now, what does that eagle have in its left hand? Claws. An olive branch. What does it have in its right? All right, what does an olive branch stand for? What does an arrow stand for? Which way does the eagle have his head turned? We prefer peace, but we will go to war if we have to. We want peace with Russia, Iran, North Korea. What? We want peace, but we will go to war. All right. On the right, well, on the top of that dollar, it's got "In God We Trust" in it, on it. And there's committees right now trying to get that "In God We Trust" taken off the dollar. As you know, our country goes, people protest against everything, whether it's a statue or whatever. But there's protest against this on the dollar. Look at the pyramid. Look at that pyramid. What is the Roman numerals on that pyramid? What's that Roman numeral? Yeah, but what are the letters? D, C, what? Wait a minute. What's the first letter? Right.
Two X's.
All right. So that's 1776. What does 1776 mean? Declaration of Independence. Now, that pyramid, the top of it represents eternal life, God. And the rest of the pyramid represents material things. And some of you have both, I guess. Now, if you're an atheist, you don't believe in God, so you can ignore our discussion here. But that I represents the eternal life, God, and our founding fathers wanted you to put spiritual above material things. What this dollar represents. Okay. All right. Look at the front of the dollar. Now, in that black circle, you have a letter. Does anybody have an A in that black circle? All right, now read around that circle. There are 12 Federal Reserve banks. So where did this dollar originate from? How many $8 in here?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston. How about B dollars? Any B's? Any C? What's a B?
The Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
All right, New York. Boston, New York. So I'll put two Federal Reserve banks. You go to C. What's a C? Pennsylvania. A D. A D. A E. We should have some D's and E's. E is what?
Richmond, Virginia.
I think D might be Atlanta.
F.
What? Well, F is Atlanta. I don't know what D would be. Okay, so now so far up to F, Atlanta, we've got the East Coast. That's where the population was when this country was young. Now, somewhere on these letters, we're going to start spreading out Midwest and West. F, how about a G? Where? Chicago. Getting out the Midwest. H? Missouri. Midwest. I? J? Kansas City. Well, now west now. K? Texas. L? And we're way out west. Is there an L? That's 12 letters. All right. So now, around the corners of that dollar, you have a 5. You have 4 5s. 5 is the 5th letter of the alphabet. So I know what this dollar would have on it. A, B, C, D, E. E is the 5th letter of the alphabet, so he's got 4 5s around the corner of his dollar. All right, and then you have the green part there, which is the scales of justice. And at the top up there, you have a Federal Reserve note. It used to be a silver certificate. When it was a silver certificate, it was backed by what? It's Federal Reserve note now. It's backed by the government. Oh. Not by silver, not by gold. Okay, not by Fort Knox. Okay, that's a little bit about the dollar. Okay, thought you might find that interesting. Okay, now I'll take up the ones I loaned out. Okay, so money is what we use to record our accounting transactions with. Dollar amounts, not tons, not acres, not pounds, and not gallons. Okay? All right, now the accounting equation, which is your first accounting concept. And that's assets is equal to liabilities plus owner's equity. All right. What are some of the assets that a business might own? Cash. Cash is an asset. Yeah. What else? Vehicles, automobiles, land, building,
Insurance.
insurance, not an asset. No, it's not an asset.
Like food, like groceries.
Grocery store has merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
So merchandise inventory is an asset, whether it's a clothing store or a grocery store, whatever kind of store, furniture store, their merchandise, right, is an asset. Their counters and their cash registers, their coolers and their buggies and so forth are assets. Okay? Parking lots even an asset. Shrubberies even an asset. So those are things a business owns. All right? Has anybody bought a car recently? You mind telling us the price of it?
I pay 600 cash.
1,600 cash? All right. Now he paid cash. Some of the rest of you may not. So his equity in that car is 1,600. He has no liabilities in that car. Did somebody finance a car recently? All right. What was the price of the car before you financed it?
44,000.
Oh, you must have got a GMC pickup.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's not even the Denali. That's just the SLT or something. But anyway, 44,000. How much do you owe on it?
I paid 35,000 down, so 9,000 up on it.
Should have got you a used one, paid cash. All right. All right. There's two people that owns that truck right now. Him and the finance company, whether it's a bank or whatever. Okay? He has 35,000 equity in it, but he owes 9 on it. So there are two owners to that truck. So assets are something you own or is owed for. He owns that truck, he owns it or owes for it, but it's in his possession, so it's his asset. Okay? Now, if we reverse this situation and he only paid 5,000 down, and financed 39. Now, if he financed 39,000, let's say 60 months, it might be, 4 years down the road, he has negative equity in that truck because it's not worth the payoff. Some of you get hoodoo banks and financing in that situation, okay? All right, so that's the accounting equation. Assets equal liabilities plus owner's equity. Now, you only need 2 of them to plug in the other one. So let's plug in a few figures here. I'll make them up as we go. So if assets 50,000, and owner's equity is 15, plug that blank in. Assets 50,000, owner's equity 15. So what is your liabilities? All right. So if you got 2, you can plug in the third. So you'll need to keep that in mind as we continue throughout the course. Okay, if you have a book, that's on page 13, and they practice a few accounting equations with you. And then on page 15, they start a business, okay? And they start a business by using this accounting equation. You people had bookkeeping and accounting, don't let this first chapter confuse you, because the second chapter will be on what you learned in bookkeeping and accounting. This first chapter is getting you used to accounting equation. All right. If you were looking at page 15, we've got the owner puts in cash in the business. He puts in cash 25,000. All right, that's your asset. And he puts in capital, which is owner's equity. I need to label this some other way. All right, these are assets. These are liabilities. This is owner's equity. All right, but now, so for your accounting equation equals. Now, in the second transaction, he buys land. This is cash, and he uses $20,000 of it to buy land. That leaves 5 cash, but he still has 20,000 in land. So what's his total assets? It's still 25. And so goes the accounting equation. That's on page 15. Now, I'll need a book or I'll need some way to show you. I'll bring PowerPoint in on Thursday and go through all these accounting transactions with you. But we'll do that with PowerPoint. And it will show you the pages that I'm looking at, okay? All right. No, some of these people are abs today. They're probably in my night class because they put today class section 02. And today has always been section 01, and the night class has been 02. I think they got the sections backwards, so some of these people may show up tomorrow night. Okay, so if you get a book, please read through those accounting transactions. Now, there's 3 important statements in the world of accounting. Well, there's really 4, but we look at 3 first. We look at a balance sheet. We look at an income statement. And we look at an owner's equity statement. That's the 3 statements we'll be looking at. Now, a balance sheet will have assets, liabilities, and owner's equity on it. That's your accounting equation. That's your balance sheet. An income statement will have income and expenses. The difference, of course, is net income. And the owner's equity will have his beginning capital plus net income minus withdrawals to give you ending capital. So those are the 3 statements we're going to learn a little bit about in the first chapter, but they'll go with you throughout accounting. And chapter 2, we deal with them pretty heavy, but they're introduced in chapter 1. All right, the balance sheet they show you in your book just has fees earned. Now, I said income here, but there's many names for income. It can be fees earned. It can be commissions earned. It can be revenue. Income has many different names, so don't ever let that confuse you. Now, I don't know why I had an H there. We went over an asset. We know a liability is something we owe. And owner's equity is our investment in the business. Just like your investment was $35,000 in a truck. Okay? All right, income has many names. Expenses. You've got rent expense, you've got salary expense, you've got interest expense, you've got tax expense, whatever. You've got a lot of expenses when starting a business. Now, has anybody ever owned a small business of their own? What kind?
I own a clothing line.
What?
A clothing business.
All right. Did you have a retail store set up somewhere?
Online e-commerce.
Or you did on e-commerce? All right. E-commerce has come a long way, hasn't it? You still have it?
Yes, sir.
You okay with it?
That'd be pretty good.
Do you keep good records? Probably not.
I feel they should.
All right. But you know, when I was teaching marketing class, we would start off way back with the old general store, and we would evolve up to even shopping centers where you have street stores all outside. We moved up to malls and indoor enclosed stores all under one roof. We went to superstores like Walmart trying to offer automobile grease jobs, eyeglasses, haircuts. So we went to superstores. We went up to TV shopping, QVC and so forth. Then we went up to e-commerce. That's just a walk through the history of retail and marketing and so on. Okay? So what are e-commerce? Do you charge tax? Do you pay your state taxes?
Yes,
The sales tax, that is, okay? All right, you probably need this class. Okay, so those are some of the things and some of the accounts. I mentioned, you know, an asset is one and liabilities are going to be two kinds of accounts, and equity is going to be three, and income four, and expenses five, and withdrawals going to be six. There's going to be six kinds of accounts that we're going to work with in the next week or two. Get you familiar with those six accounts and what statements they go on. And then we'll learn to use them in a journal entry, so forth. All right, do I have any international students in here? Any international? I just have some last names I can't pronounce. But a couple years ago, in my different classes, I had international students from 14 different countries. 3 or 4 county classes. There's been some good international students. I have Man Journal coming up, and I know I have a young man in there from Spain, and one from Ukraine. The other one I want to say New Zealand, but I have 3 in there. But we have a lot of international students. I like to see international students, okay? Just gives it a different flavor, and they add the class. Accounting, different in their countries, but it's the same in some of the countries. Okay, I had a young man from Africa one year. I forget what country in Africa, and his name was Bliss. Okay, we were talking about taxes, and I asked him about taxes in his country. He said, "Oh, taxes in my country is easy. If you own 10 cows, you give 1 to the government. If you own 10 sheep, you give 1 to the government." And I said, "What does the government do with the sheep and the cows?" "Well, they give them to the poor people that don't have any sheep and cows." Well, I thought that was a nice little thing. I told all my class. A year later, he told me he was kidding. They charge $1 just like our government does. So, anyway, Bless went on. He got his accounting major, and I forget where he ended up, or if he went back home or not, so forth. So, but he pulled a good one on me. All right, there is a cash flow statement also mentioned in chapter 1. We will not worry about a cash flow statement until another chapter. So I'm just telling you a few things about chapter 1 this morning. Get you to think about accounting. Got a course syllabus, you can look over them. And what book we're using, it comes with a disc. If you do get a used book out there somewhere, don't have a disc, you can buy that disc separate online, or even when you go to log in, you'll need a key code. I've already got it set up on Cengage for class. That's why I have this code that I passed out to you. Okay, now hopefully all of them can get on Moodle now. And I don't know if I have PowerPoint on there or not, but I'll show you some PowerPoint items, Thursday. So today, I'm gonna cut the class a little short, it'll be the only one that's short. All right, hope more of you have your books and get out there and get done what you need done today.
Do you have an actual syllabus?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you came in a little late there. Let's see, what was your last name?
Brown.
Brown?
Yes, sir.
You have a brother up here?
No,
Haven't had a brother up here?
I'm from New York.
You remind me of somebody. So you're Robert.
Yes.
Okay. Here you go. And let's see, I had another page too I was handing out. Let me, and let's see. On that syllabus, here is your code. You need to write this down. Did you get that written down?
No, I wasn't here when you did that.
All right. Here you go. Use mine. Okay, ACCT, write that code down. And here's how you get in when you get a disk. Log in here, and the disk will tell you what to do.
Okay. Thank you. It should be bad. See you on Thursday.
Okay, take care.
Oh, we don't have to.
He said it's a good thing.
They get that leak fixed in the whole box? Remember, dude, George just talked to cat lab. Proper. Yeah, he said he was running there. Yeah. I was like, Gives you that.
You too.
We don't have anything to write off.
No, read chapter 1. If you can get into Cengage, start working chapter 1. And I just put a broad date on those, but you need to finish them as we go along. All work should be done on chapter 1 on Cengage by next Tuesday.
Okay. I got economics due Friday.
You'll be all right, with economics.
I hope you're right.
Got Malin, Missouri.
What?
Who?
First quarter.
Economics? Up here?
Engineering.
Oh, engineering. Oh, okay.
We got a small business borrowed $32,500 from a business owner from a personal savings for business owner. Company repaid the loan after 1 year later with a single payment of 35 points. What was the total amount paid back to the owner? What was the interest rate paid back to the owner in the 1 year period?
Is that accounting or engineering economics?
Engineering economics.
Don't tell me about that. I'm an accountant.
Simple interest is calculated using the principal only, ignoring any interest from previous interest periods. The company borrowed $50,000 from a bank.
You're gonna get confused. Go on.
Hey.
Are all of his classes, how are you? Are all of his classes in here? I just wondered, like, was he always in here? I don't know. Oh, I don't think so. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
You're gonna have it. How come I'm here? I'm just kidding. Can I grab one?